What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. All right, y'all. So today's video, which is going to be another reaction video, this is going to be courtesy of the crew at the Daily Wrap Up Crew. So shout out to them brothers. And again, if you haven't followed them, go ahead and do so right now. Now, this particular video, I'm not going to react to the whole video, but when I watched it today, there were three segments that really caught my attention, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do a reaction video on this one." Now, when I initially saw it, I saved it because I was gonna look at it later, and when I looked at it today, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come back with a reaction video for this one." And I think it's important for my fellas and my sisters to take a look at this one. Of course, I'm gonna pause it here and there and come back with my thoughts. But like I said, three segments on here really caught my ears, and I wanted to get my thoughts on it. And also, in addition to me putting it link in the description box, it also was a good discussion. And when we can have discussions like this that don't turn into a shouting match or anything like that, or you got the brothers being frustrated and you got the ladies being combative or whatever, it's always a good thing. And we need more panels like this where even if we may agree to disagree on some things, or we may be on opposite sides or whatever the case may be, we can still disagree without it turning into a shouting match or without somebody being put out, or et cetera, et cetera. So with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and get right into this one. And again, shout out to the Daily Wrap Up crew and Fair Usage for the video. Fair Usage. And the three segments that we're going to focus on, one is, well, no, let me just go ahead and get into the video. Y'all gonna see. All right, so let me go ahead and get this shared, and we are definitely going to get started here.
We got to talk about that, man, because I've seen a lot of mixed reactions about that, right? So do you think that she was in the wrong by saying she said it wasn't enough, or he should have sent 100 for lunch or something like that? What's your thoughts on that?
100 is kind of crazy because, like, even for two people, when you order on Uber Eats, and Uber Eats it's tax.
Yeah,
it's like $40-$50.
Yeah.
So, me personally, I would have just sent a screenshot of what I got, and you gonna either pay it or you don't. That's how I'm gonna deal with it.
Okay. So you felt like she was being like bougie in that situation, or like?
Yeah, because I feel like you shouldn't have no expectations of a wallet that's not yours.
Okay, now that's a good point. Don't need to have expectations of a wallet that's not yours. Oh yeah, that's a damn good point, and it's good that it's coming from a sister right here. So shout out to her. Now I'm gonna go ahead and answer this. Before they continue. Now, y'all remember the lady from Instagram? She had an issue because the guy sent her $30 or whatever, and she was expecting 100. I talked about that on my channel. Other content creators have talked about it, and all of us largely came to the same conclusion. She should have been grateful, and on another end, she shouldn't have put that online. She shouldn't have done no posts or whatever. And also to that brother, whoever it was, he shouldn't have been sending her money to begin with, because number one, that's not your lady. So he shouldn't have even been doing no nice gesture like that. Now let me back up a bit. If he wanted to do the nice gesture, that's on him. That's his money. But me and other brothers, we wouldn't recommend that. For one, that's not your lady. And when you do things like that, especially when she's not your lady, you're only gonna embolden her to continue to act the way that she did on the video. Y'all saw how entitled she was and arrogant she was, and the faces that she was making. We all saw it. So that's what they're talking about here. Now, I would say if you're going to do something like that, or in this case, just to use this for an example, let's say the brother or the man or whatever decides to do a gesture like that and the woman is not in a relationship with him. I think $25 is good. You can easily get lunch with that. Now, you do not need $50 and up for lunch. And I think they're going to go into that. And I may stop it here and there to offer my thoughts on that. But what the hell you need $50 and up for lunch? I mean, is that what we're doing now? Lavish lunches? What's next on the menu? Blissful breakfast, breezy brunches, a dazzling dinner. Is that what we're coming to here? Give me a break. So yeah, so $25 is good. That'll get you a decent lunch, depending on where you want to go. You don't have to go to an extravagant place and have such a lavish lunch. I mean, what? Just be glad that you got the $25 or whatever. Don't go pocket watches saying, no, I'm expecting 100. No. How about this? How about you pay for your own damn lunch? How about that?
That is valid. I'm not gonna lie. That's
I like
valid.
that.
What's your thoughts?
I think $100 is crazy. I think like the maximum should be like 50.
50
Yeah.
for lunch?
Yeah, because it's
Way
like
too
it
much.
includes like drinks.
Drink?
Y'all eating,
And
bro? What
then
the
on top of that, it got
Exactly.
gratuity these days. So like you don't know what tax is on that bill. So like I think the max should be 50. Like the lowest should be 30, but like 100 goes crazy.
Wait, what?
The max should be 25, no higher than that. Bottom
Lunch?
line.
Where y'all be going for lunch? That's what I need to know. Like, where y'all be going for lunch?
Exactly.
on the roof, Chris? Like, what the?
Like
She said gratuity.
What
Like,
the
yo, what the
fuck?
fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying?
no,
Like,
like if you go to a restaurant, they ask
Yeah.
you gratuity. But like if it's McDonald's or Kiss Me, $30.
Yeah,
Fine. But like if you choose like as a female to treat yourself, have a self-care day, treat yourself. I think 50 is the most, but 100 is crazy.
yeah, but she ain't asked for it. Wasn't like a self-care conversation. It was just like, yo, like, I'm gonna send you some money for lunch. Like, I
But
thought
then
30.
she was doing food and more. Like she
Oh,
was
she's
probably
trying to do
She was probably
extra.
going to
She
get her
was-
nails done.
yeah.
She was doing too much. Yeah, this one about lunch. She probably was looking to do extra. Y'all remember that
Okay.
video?
She was probably
Sex
wanted
for
to eat
the
with the
extra.
homegirls and was paying for the homegirls.
Listen, Ace, man, what's your thoughts on this, man?
Uh,
What's an appropriate amount to send a woman for lunch?
a woman that I don't know.
$25.
Yeah.
Nothing. Fuck you talking about? I just thought this situation is why exactly I wouldn't even do it. Cause if
I mean, personally, I wouldn't do it either. Now, my lady today, if she asked me to send her a little something, yeah, that's different. I would. But anybody else, if I was single right now and it came to that, hell no, I ain't sending you a damn thing. No, pay for your own damn lunch. It's that simple.
if I get that, if I get that reaction, I'm like, yo, somebody right back.
Yo, imagine you go on IG.
Like,
Imagine you go on IG and you listen to that shit. But wait a second, that's me. She talking about.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like this.
yo, and he clearly following her because he like, yo, he DM'd her and said, like, I'm gonna buy you lunch. But I thought the gesture was cool. I mean, women say they like a man, take initiative. I'm thinking you going to work, you want to get a quick lunch real quick, you want to go to Chipotle or something. Last time I checked, Chipotle
is
like
tax now. I'm not gonna lie. It's
you're
like
not spending $30
it's like,
on
no.
yourself in Chipotle.
it's
But
like
that one bowl be
$15,
like,
$20
yeah.
a bowl in Chipotle now.
I ain't going front Chipotle. They be taxed.
They
like,
just- they
A
and
bowl is $20.
if you want the guacamole and then that
Yeah.
double,
The
double
cheapest thing you might get is
chicken,
that like kids meal thing or like the 3 tacos for like $10, but like that's about it. The bowl be like $15 to $20.
I tell you this, the ladies, they know their food. I give them that. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but they know how to take care of their appetites. They gonna eat. They gonna go where they want to go. They gonna make the decisions that they gonna make when it comes to their appetite. And I think I'm beginning to notice that more and more nowadays too.
Nah, yeah.
Yo,
But
I think-
even if that shit do come out to like a 30 or whatever the case is, you could cover the rest. Like you only spend
so
like
you
$1.
spent $2
Yeah,
out of your money on lunch. I still bought you lunch.
Yeah,
I mean, you paid the tax. Cool. Like,
still look good.
I mean, I think she should have been more appreciative of it. But she like, oh, that don't even cover my half my tank or something. Like, nobody said nothing about your tank, bro. This is for you to get a little something to eat, and then we pick up something else later. Like if we linking up or some shit. Like,
Yeah, I think this is part of the reason why men have stopped doing gestures for women, because now it's looking like, he thought he did something out the kindness of his heart. Like, you know what I mean? He just sending her lunch money. Like, I ain't never seen nobody go to lunch.
they say shit.
Go to
really bad.
5-star restaurants for lunch and shit like
That's
that.
what-
You know what I mean? So now he looking like, damn, she on blasting me. Like, the world don't know who he is. Even though there was a video of a guy.
He's
I
claiming
don't know.
it was him.
I don't think that was him. I'm gonna be honest with you. If that was you, that wasn't a good look. I'm
Or
you should have just kept that video.
Nigga said,
to
this is
yourself.
what I got left. I sent them my last 30. I said, damn,
Yeah, you
bro,
shouldn't
shoulda
have
did
How you gonna come on the internet and admit that you a broke nigga? Like, you
Word.
can't do that. Like,
I mean, but that's also kind of sweet. Like, if you have $1 billion and you send me 30, it's like, damn. But if you had your last $30 and you send me 30, it's like, all right, I could fuck with you because I know you're gonna put up for me.
that's a great way to look at it.
That
You know
is
what I
very
mean? But most
optimistic.
women will look at it as you some bum nigga.
That's a broke
Like,
nigga.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have women talk about you making $50,000. You shouldn't be dating.
Yeah, word.
That nigga is struggling to send you $30. Like, y'all gonna be like, nah, that ain't it.
But at
You
least
know
he
what
took the kindness of his heart.
It was,
No, that's
it
fair.
was, it was from here.
I mean? That is fair. That's
So
fair.
y'all would fuck with him.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
come
would.
on, bro.
I mean,
It
that's
depends.
because they would have
It
other niggas that
depends.
will probably just send you 15 and make you try to stretch that out.
Mhm.
So
You can find something to get with that $15. Get you what you're gonna get, and then if you have to put the rest of your money towards that, maybe a few more dollars to make it complete, you do just that. Yeah. Take the 15.
honestly, yeah.
Yeah, you would fuck with him?
Yeah.
I would fuck with him.
No, you wouldn't.
They lying, like, for sure they
Listen,
lying.
me, I've always been the breadwinner in all my relationships, so I personally don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So it
That's
is
a
what
fact.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so
a
you
fact.
be tricking on your nigga?
I do.
Okay.
So if you call one of your exes right now, he gonna be like, yeah, she held it down.
All my exes will tell you. I promise you.
Listen, man.
Listen, all my exes try to spin a block, so I know I did something right.
I
I'm
mean,
just saying.
Matter of fact, call your ex right now. Like, yo, would you spin the block? Like,
Pick one of them. Pick one of them.
yo,
Like,
yo, you.
Not y'all trying to be messy.
We is. Because if you gonna say it, then I
people
feel
want
like
to know, like,
you know what I mean?
if
It's
it's
only
true or
right.
not, man.
Mm,
You can make that call.
nah,
Nah,
we're not gonna.
you're not gonna do that.
We're not gonna make them think that I want to spin the block.
Oh, man, like,
I don't
see?
even want to put that in the air.
You can just hit them with an April Fool's after. I mean,
All right, let me stop right there. So they just continue on with that. It's nothing more that needs to be heard in that part. But like I said, in my opinion, a nice gesture would be $25. That should be maximum right there, especially if you're in a relationship with that person. Now, if you're not in a relationship, that's still the maximum. You do not need to be sending $50 and up to somebody for lunch. I mean, what are we doing here? That's the main thing. So no, don't come with asking for extra. $25 maximum. You can do what you got to do with that. And if it happens to come up to $24.58 or something like that, you got it. If it comes up to $26.07, grab a dollar and some change out your purse or whatever, or even grab an extra dollar and do that. That's assuming that the guy gave you a $20 and a $5 bill. Take care of the extra. Y'all good. It's not going to hurt you one way or the other to take a few dollars out. But I get that you want to have it covered without having to do that. But still, if you're getting a gesture like that, don't be too damn picky and don't be too damn beggy either. Come on. So so they did make some good points. I give them that. So we're going to get to the next one. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and keep this part going because they're going to go
It's
right.
not April.
it gotta be.
You know what I mean? So now I think just in general, I think like I thought the gesture was $30. That seems reasonable to me. Like I'm not gonna, especially if it's a woman I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna invest no $100 for her to like whatever could possibly ghost me or whatever the case is. Like I'm not gonna put that investment up front like that. So the $30 I thought was a good gesture.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. And if y'all think I'm some broke ass bum ass nigga, so be it. Like, you know what I mean? I'll be that. Like, you get what I'm saying? So
That's 30 more than me, man.
he said 30 more than me. Like, you gonna say 0. Damn.
Damn, 0 kind of crazy.
0 is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But we're gonna talk about that another time. Listen, this next topic, right? It's kind of like mixed feelings about it because I've talked to people and they said that it's okay for you to still keep in contact with your ex while you're in a relationship. And I spoke to other people that said, nah, it's a red flag. What's your thoughts on it?
All right. Now, before the ladies begin and before the fellas come back in, let me give my thoughts on this one first before we continue. Is it okay to keep in contact with an ex after y'all finish? No. Simply put, no. Now, if you have a child or children with this person, that's different. But even then, with me and my son's mother, we're co-parents. We're not friends, and besides, she got married again, her 4th, but that's a different story. But we're co-parents. We're not friends. We're not going to have a night out on the town. We're not going to be hanging out or doing anything like that, because we just not. And even if she did ask me, we wouldn't do it. We don't need to have a conversation at a restaurant about our son. We can do that on the telephone. And with him turning 18 this year, our contact is going to become more minimum, or should I say minimal, as the time goes on. We're still going to be there in terms of co-parenting, but the communication is not going to be as much because he's going to turned 18 and he's approaching adulthood and stuff like that. But and yeah, again, you got a husband. We don't need to be hanging out. What the hell we need to hang out about? Or hang out for, I should say. So that's that part. But yeah, is it feasible or advisable to keep in contact with an ex? No, I don't care how long the relationship was. I don't care how long y'all known each other. It's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a reasonable thing to do, for the lack of a better word to explain it. And I'll also give some more examples. Well, just one example, the social media effect. Now, let's say a man and a woman were friends on Facebook during the entire time they were together. And then for whatever reason they broke up, and this is the case, let's just say that they're in a relationship. They're not married, they're not engaged or whatever. So you have the man, who just happens to put on his page, y'all say hello to my new lady. Now you got the ex is going to feel a certain way about that when she see that, she going to, contact the man asking all these questions, who is she? How long y'all been together? Does she treat you right? All this other stuff, Now the man, depending on who it is, he may answer, he may not, excuse me, but that would be the case. It's the social media effect, because some people just got to put all their business out there, right? Now, flip that around. Let's say that there's a breakup and they friends on Facebook, and the women, y'all know how they do. I'm about to head to this place with the boo. I'm about to do this and I'm about to do that. Now, most of the time, the man wouldn't say anything. Now, I wouldn't be put in that situation, because that would have been an unfriend from the jump. Some men will probably be like, it's all right. Now, other men may take that personal, and do something crazy. I'm just being honest with y'all. That goes to show you that you shouldn't be putting everything on social media, but again, just the social media aspect alone makes it clear that no, it's not cool to be friends with an ex. I don't care what the situation is. No, we don't need to catch up. We don't need to see how the other person's family doing. We don't need to go, you don't need to know how my new significant other doing. You don't need to know how things going on in my job, et cetera, et cetera. It's just no. Once we're done, we're done. You don't need all that extra access to me, especially on social media. I mean, for what? So you can keep track of what I'm doing, and every time I post an update regarding me and my lady or whatever, you're going to have something to say about it? No, nobody got time for that, So those are my thoughts, but let's continue on, y'all.
Nah, it's not happening.
You can't keep in contact with no exes?
Like, once we get in a relationship serious,
Mhm.
nah, you can't talk to your ex anymore.
Well, she said all her exes trying to spin the block, so she definitely can't be, friends with her exes. Like.
Exactly.
But you still keep in contact with them, though?
No,
So how you know they want to spin the block?
because they reach out. And I
you be-
ignore them.
And you
Oh,
know, right?
oh, God, that might be
Yeah.
valid. That might be valid. Like, what about you? How you feel about this?
Nah, it can
That's
it
valid.
can never happen. I can't stay in contact with an ex, because before we became a companion, we were friends before. So now that you broke the companionship, you also broke the friendship. You lost me both ways. So now it's like, why am I still staying in contact with you if you broke the friendship and the companionship? How am I supposed to trust you if you broke?
I mean, but
both
this
That's a good point. I mean, hey, you broke the relationship and you broke the friendship. So why even bother? And then that gets into another layer of the discussion. We can still be friends. And let me bring up an example. Like, let's say, Saved by the Bell. Yeah, I got to go back to a classic show from the 90s. So y'all remember the ups and downs and the trials and tribulations of Kelly and Zach when they was in high school, and then one thing led to another. Kelly met some guy. What's his name? Jeff. Yeah, she met him, and then she broke up with Zach for this guy. And then Zach had to humble himself and pretty much tell the guy treat her right. She's a good girl and all that stuff. So now they had a friendship before Jeff came along, so Zach had to step aside and stuff like that. Now, I use it as an example to say that, it depends on the people involved. Some people can still be friends after the fact and still be cool with them moving on to other people. Some people, other people aren't cool with that. Now, me, I mean, it is what it is. I don't have one thought one way or the other. People gonna do what they're gonna do regardless. So that's my thought on that. But let's keep it going. But the ladies, yeah, shout out to the ladies. They're not combative. They're nice and they're sweet and they being honest here, and they're not giving the brothers too much pushback or anything like that. And that's how these panels should be going forward. We don't need the aggression, the combativeness, the loud talking, the over talking, and any of that other stuff. So shout out to everybody here.
Wait,
People
But
that
you assuming y'all ending on bad terms though, like
it always ends on bad terms. When do you ever end with your ex on a good term?
I know my exes on good terms all the time.
yeah, I don't think I have an ex that I'm like, damn, I don't necessarily fuck with them like in the situation like where I hate them or something like that.
Yeah.
I probably won't fuck with them because I ain't just trying.
No,
to
it don't
fuck
gotta
with
be
them or
hate,
whatever,
but it's
yeah.
just not. It's just not a way for me to ever be back in a good zone with you,
So
because there was a reason that we broke up.
So what?
Right.
So what happened? You
And-
just broke up on some cord. Like I understand you never been in that situation, but let's say your boyfriend and his exes they just broke up and they're still friends. Like they're very platonic and whatever the case is. Would that be and he's showing you like, listen, I know we dated, but we are just friends. She's like a best friend to me now. Like
Best friend goes crazy.
Best friend go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, they would have to get smacked. I know they I know they're gonna have secret innuendos, the little what's it called, behind the scenes jokes. What's it
Oh,
inside
jokes?
jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
And then
need
she
don't
knows
no
more.
ha he
And
you
she
don't
knows
be
more about
laughing.
him than me. And then
Yeah.
there'll be a time that we talking about something, and she might bring up something in the past, and
Yeah, it'll be hella awkward. So they're making some good points.
that
here.
may be a hand and slapping the face.
he still do that thing with his tongue, like
Oh shit. Nah.
Well, not necessarily a smack per se, but in a situation like that, that'll be a discussion that'll be had like in the car. Like for example, I saw you in there with such and such, and she was making this little joke or whatever. I guess it was an inside joke. So what's that all about? And the brother tried to play dumb like, oh, it wasn't none. And then the lady, I guess to her credit, maybe not, she gonna continue to, ask probing questions, what was all that about? So that'll definitely be a discussion in the car going home, and it'll probably continue to be a discussion when you get in the house, and that'll probably lead to little to no intimacy that night. And it'll probably be another discussion the next day. Y'all see how it goes, that's exactly how it would be.
Like that'll probably irk you.
No, they close to the fan. I ain't got no. Yeah, we not doing that.
One day you go meet the family, and they already at the house. Like,
Yeah, that goes crazy.
I do find that
feel some type of way.
see with this conversation it is like confusing because women will without a doubt your man can't have a female best friend or ex, you know what I mean, that they cool with. But when it's the women on the other end, you supposed to trust them and you're insecure if you just that and that. I'm not doing nothing with them and like
Exactly. See, now this brother is cooking right here. Those are some good points. So I've seen this situation before. Has it been the case with me personally? No, but I've seen it. So it's okay for women to have male friends, but it's not okay for the male to have female friends. And I guarantee you the thought process behind a woman saying that and thinking it is because they automatically gonna think the man is gonna sleep with his friends. That may be the case, that may not be the case, but we can't have these double standards here. Now me, I don't subscribe to the whole notion of, having female friends of the opposite sex. Now, are there people that we went to school with that we know? Yes. Are there people that we work with? Yes. They're friends, acquaintances, and stuff like that. But if I'm in a relationship, which I currently am, I don't need to be hanging out with another woman that's not in my family. And even then, when it comes to my family, the majority of the time I see my family is doing gatherings and stuff like that. So we're not even doing that sort of thing, if you get what I'm saying. So that's my thing, So no, I don't buy that whole, or he just a friend, we're gonna hang out. No, you got me. What the hell you need to hang out with him for? And it's not no insecure factor, it's not no jealous factor, even though some men and some women will operate on that level depending on the situation. But speaking for myself, and me and my lady, we talked about this a couple of times, just use an example. She asked me, what are my thoughts on that? I told her what my thoughts were. Pretty much I said, no, I'm not going for that, and don't think that I'm going to be okay with that if you ever brought that to my attention, because it's an automatic no. And she pretty much echoed my sentiments, but in a womanly fashion, quote unquote, and I don't say quote unquote flippantly. I'm just saying she came with it from a woman's point of view. I came at it from a man's point of view. I just never been cool with that. Never. I never have, and I never will. And again, to my ladies out there, it's not an insecure factor. It's not a jealous factor. It's just most men don't do that. And I'll say this too. Men, and I can speak, for the fellas on this one too. Men, we know how other men are, just like women know who other women are. We know how most fellas get down. Don't think for 1 second that just because I'm in the picture, my lady, as cute and fine as she is, that if the opportunity presented itself, he wouldn't try something. Most men get down like that. Women, based on what I've heard and based on what we've also heard on these social media spaces, women can be conniving. They could be friendly and all up in your face and laughing with you and keying and all that stuff. But on the low, she's scheming to get your man. So you just gotta be careful and you gotta be vigilant, with everything. But the point that I'm making is that when it comes to friends of the opposite sex, okay, I get that you work with people and it's people that you knew with at school, but no, don't ever step to me, well, such and such is in town and he, found a way to reach out to me. I was just wanting to know if you would be cool with us, grabbing lunch and catching up. Hell no. Speak. If you happen to see them around, speak and let them know how you're doing and stuff like that. But no, you don't need to be sitting at nobody's restaurant, catching up on old times. No, hell no. We're not doing that. Let's keep it
so
moving.
why you feel like, it's a
double standard.
A double standard when it comes to that? Like women can have guy best friends, but the guy can't have a girl best friend. Like,
I don't think, as long as it's not your ex, I don't care.
you don't care?
Like, and I know them. If I know this person, because if I see them and they start acting real too on your body, no, it's clip. They can't be your best friend. She wanna fuck.
So what about the ex? Why don't you meet the ex and y'all cool and you would see that like it's just platonic? Like,
no,
is it still no? Like,
they fucked. They did this. It's quiet. Once that happened, it was quiet. Like,
yeah, that's hard. I'm trying to vouch for them. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm just, Ace, how you feel about this?
So this is you still talking to your ex and you in a new relationship, right? Yeah, nah. I'm with them. It ain't gonna work because it's just too much history. I mean,
Yep.
With drinks, what they say, anything is possible. Like, you know what I mean?
y'all done slurped and did all that.
Y'all done did amazing things together. Like,
not amazing.
Amazing.
It might be a time where your girl tripping. I mean, you talk to her about it. You know what I mean? A shoulder to cry and turn in what's the saying? Turn into a dick to ride on or some shit. So nah.
I ain't never heard that
Clip.
one.
yeah, and sometimes, like as a female, you can't trust other females. You don't know what they're gonna do behind your back with your nigga. And same thing with him. You don't know what he's gonna do behind your back with her. Sometimes niggas can't control what's in their pants.
And I've heard that a lot over the years too, with most women that I've talked to over the years, they don't have a lot of female friends because of what she said and more. I've heard that a lot, and I always wondered why that is. And I think most women have had similar answers, but the majority of them said the same thing in terms of they can't be trusted. It's too much drama. It's too much cattiness and all that stuff. I've heard it a lot. So she kind of speaking to the choir here.
So, but that will go the same thing as having a guy having a girl best friend, right? The girl or the female having a guy best friend, the bestie.
Oh, and let me say another thing here, fellas and ladies. What we need to stop doing is, if you're in a relationship with someone and y'all having problems, do not go to somebody from the opposite sex for advice, especially if they're not in your family. Ladies, if you're having problems with your man, don't go to another man for assistance or guidance, or you need a shoulder to cry on. You're in a highly vulnerable state, and with emotions flowing, and we're human, anything is possible. And to my fellas, if you're having issues with your girl or whatever, do not go to another woman talking about your problems and all of that stuff, because again, you're in a highly emotional state of mind, you're vulnerable, and anything is possible. So that's another thing. Do not do that. Now, I'm not saying that you can't go to somebody and talk about your issues. My thing is if you're going to do that and it's a person from the opposite sex, can that be a family member? But then again, you got to bring it back to, okay, you don't want your family all in your business. Okay, I understand that. But if you can't go to a family member and you're not going to go to a friend of the opposite sex, and in this case, we're talking about the men and the women, then you just got to be disciplined, team discipline here. That's how we operate. You got to be disciplined and you got to think about what you're doing. You don't want to make decisions from an emotional standpoint. You don't want to make decisions in a vulnerable state of mind. You just don't. You just have to take a step back from the situation. You have to analyze it and you have to move accordingly and move appropriately. Accordingly, in a sense that don't do something that you're going to regret. Appropriately, give yourself enough time to make the best possible decision. And I wouldn't even say going to a friend is a last resort. I wouldn't even want to put that on the table. Because why? And like I said, no, that's not saying that if you go to somebody for help or guidance that you got to immediately sleep with them. No, I'm not saying that at all, but we know how things can get. We probably seen it in our own lives. Hell, we may have participated in it. I haven't, and of course we've seen it in movies and TV, but applying that to real life, no, we got to move differently, and the less we do that, the less drama it'll be in relationships.
You know what I mean? That could
That's
be the same.
why most of the time
anything is possible.
That's why most of the times, no offense, they be the gay ones.
They be the what?
The gay ones. That's why most females choose a gay nigga as a best friend.
No.
But I have a straight best friend. But at the end of the day, we grew up together, like literally as babies. So nobody could say, "Oh, they're fucking with each other," because no, it's not.
And y'all ain't never tried nothing?
No, never.
Okay.
I view that as my brother. So if I ever did that, that's incest at this point.
Got you.
I don't know. A lot of y'all women, some of y'all women, let me say it now. Like, you know what I mean? Some of y'all women, y'all be hiding that's my bestie, and y'all really be on low key fucking. Like, you know what I mean? That's just the cover up to make your nigga feel good. Like, you know what I mean?
I feel like that's the females that like to keep things on the low, because I feel like sometimes if you have a relationship and you just let it out right away, a lot of things get in the way, or a lot of people tries to get into the mix of it when you let things out. So I feel like when people like that keep things in, it's for the better of them and everybody else.
I say there's two people when you're in a relationship that you got to worry about. You got to worry about the guy best friend. You got to worry about the gay best friend. Cause I've seen this story. I've seen a couple of stories. The gay niggas be fucking. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I just seen this story not too long ago. You seen that shit, right?
The nigga got the girl pregnant.
I'm telling you, son,
curiosity.
I'm telling you,
curiosity is crazy.
Probably, like, you know what I'm saying? Let me see what this pussy feel like. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is kind of crazy. I ain't gonna hold you, but
if you're gay, right? Pussy's supposed to be not attractive to you, right?
You're not gay,
but some of them would never know.
Huh?
You're not gay if you want to try out coochie. You bi, but not gay.
All right, so I can stop it right there. They just go into that a little bit more, but yeah, again, shout out to this panel. I mean, they talking about some real stuff. They're making some valid points here, and again, it's not loud, it's not combative or anything like that. Everybody is making some valid points here. So, from here, we're going to move to the last segment that I wanted to touch on. All right, let me go to it here.
Listen, let me get to this next topic, right? What are the advantages and disadvantages of being vulnerable in a romantic relationship?
All right, now, of course, I got to start with my thoughts. Now, speaking as a man, it's okay to be vulnerable. You're not a sucker if you're vulnerable. You're definitely not a simp. And even then, I don't even think simps can be vulnerable. But I digress. Now, two advantages that come to mind for me when it comes to being vulnerable in romantic relationships. Number one, you can go to your partner about anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. Nothing should be off limits, And I'm pretty sure that in most relationships, we have heard something akin to, I'm your all, I'm your everything. There's nothing that, that you need to hide from me. In other words, anything you want to talk about, anything that's on your mind, no matter what it is, you can come to me. I'm your shoulder to lean on. You come and talk to me about it. You don't have to go to anyone else. You don't have to confide in another person. That's another thing that I should have mentioned in the previous section. Stop confiding in people. Confide. If you're going to confide in somebody, confide in your significant other. Hey, confide in your parents. Don't confide in a best friend or somebody like that, because chances are we know how that can turn out. But like I said, that's one advantage I know of. You can go to your partner about anything, and it should never come to, well, I wanted to talk to you about this, but I just couldn't because I didn't know how you would respond, or I couldn't come to you about this because of how it was going to make you feel, or something like that. So you definitely want to be upfront and open with your partner at all times, especially if you're entering into a long-term thing and it leads to marriage. You definitely want to have those lines of communication open. That's one thing. The second thing is a safe space. And I think this kind of alludes to the first thing. You definitely want to be comfortable with discussing, your innermost feelings with your significant other, not just the women, but the men too. We're all human, and miss me with the nonsense that men ain't supposed to cry, men ain't supposed to have feelings, et cetera, et cetera. I tell you in a heartbeat, I've cried before. I've cried in relationships. I got no problem admitting that. I'm human. I'm a man. We have emotions too. Yes, we may have a rough, tough exterior, but on the inside, yeah, we have our moments. And I'm sure most of the fellas listening to this can testify that. I know I've had my moments, and quite frankly, I may have my moments again, but it's all in how you deal with that and how you respond to that and how you show your partner that you respond to that. I mean, it's clear, Next up, the disadvantages of being vulnerable in romantic relationships, but those are no brainers to me. So, and they're going to allude to this too. It could be weaponized and used against you. Now, usually based on experiences that can probably come from the women more so than the men, but then again, it depends on the people involved. And you definitely don't want that sort of thing to be weaponized against you, because if you do that, the other person is going to remember that. And if you have disagreements going forward, it's always going to come up as a sore spot. And that's another thing that y'all are going to be arguing about, especially when it didn't have anything to do with what y'all was initially arguing about. So that's that factor. It can't be used against you. And the second thing is this is what I was alluding to a few moments ago regarding confining other people. You got that going to other people aspect. Okay, so I couldn't talk to you about this, so I went to such and such and such because he understands. Don't ever do that, ladies. Don't do that. And fellas, don't ever do the whole thing about, well, such and such and such, could connect with me and my feelings. So that's why I went to her. I couldn't come to you because you were so crazy with yours. Fellas, don't do that. So ladies, don't do what I just mentioned. Fellas, don't do that either. And what's worst of all is, fellas, and I'm gonna get to the ladies too, but fellas, on another level, don't ever compare your lady to an ex. Don't do it. Do not ever say some along the likes of, well, when I was with such and such and such, she didn't act like this. Oh my God, you asking for it. Do not do that. And ladies, don't ever compare your man to an ex. When I was with such and such and such and such, he paid for everything. You don't pay for a damn thing. Like, please don't do that. So those are some of the advantages and disadvantages of being vulnerable in romantic relationships from my point of view. I know it's more that I could throw in there, but those are the four items respectively that came to mind when I was listening to this. So we're going to get to their thoughts and then we're going to close the video.
Because I preference this because I know that was your top. That was your topic, right?
It's all her topic.
Okay, all right. Well, you sent them over. So, women always find, like, I always hear them talk about they want men to be vulnerable, right? You know what I mean? Like, why is that so important for women, for men to be vulnerable with them?
A lot of the times men aren't like open or vulnerable because it's like you're seen as soft or you're seen as a simp. But honestly, if a man is vulnerable with you, it's like you could be your own feminine self with that person because you know that they're gonna give you that energy in return.
What energy?
Feminine energy.
Oh, so you want feminine energy for you?
No, like I'm talking about I can be feminine if you could be vulnerable.
So what does vulnerability look like to you?
It's just like, you know, you open up about like what happened maybe in your past that makes you a certain way, or like how you feel about certain things. Like if you had a bad day, I want you to tell me what happened. Like I want you to be the first point of contact. Pretty much anything happens, I'm your go-to.
Mm,
So it makes you feel like special.
Good points.
Gotcha.
got you. So that's the pros. What do you think are the cons about being vulnerable in a relationship?
Sometimes I feel like in relationships, some people will throw that type of stuff back in your face.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's a big con.
Got you. What do you think of the advantages or disadvantages of?
Well, the advantages is somebody actually being themselves. Like don't try to be something you think I want you to be or what you think you can be. Just be you, and then I'll accept you for you. I don't go for looks or anything. I go for personality, loyalty, and honesty. So
Women do set it a lot. You know, most women do, you know, well, I guess nowadays it may be different, but more often than not, women do set it. They, you know, they don't go for looks first. They usually go for personality first. I've been told
it's
that.
like once you show that to me and prove that to me, we can move forward with it. I don't really ask for much. I'm not really a taker. I'm more of a giver. So it's like when somebody gives something to me, that really means something special to me. So if you could do more than what I ever expect, then we can move forward from it. Now the disadvantage would be it being too good to be true, because not everything's a fairy tale, and you know things do end. So it's like if it seems too sweet or too nice, it's not always gonna be something good in the long run because you don't know what downfall they probably hiding from you, or they just don't want you to find out. So some things are kind of too good to be true.
Okay. Ace, what's your thoughts on this?
Like they said, I think the advantage would be you could be yourself around the person. A lot of people don't think they could be themselves around their significant others, and I think that's why a lot of relationships don't work because you busy trying to please this person or be the picture of what they want you to be, and you really hiding how you are inside. Like a lot of people be hiding shit that they really want to do, and they end up resenting their partner because they can't be themselves. So I think that vulnerability is important in relationships. The disadvantages obviously is if they try to throw it back in your face. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of women be doing that a lot. I mean, when they get mad. So I mean, that's what stopped men from opening up. And it'd be hard to really trust a person and really believe that they're not going to use it against you in the long run or look at you differently when you open up to them. You know what I mean? Especially for a guy, because like you say, you don't want to look soft. You know what I mean? You don't want to look like sassy and like or whatever the word
Whatever
is,
term they
whatever
come up
term
with
is
every year,
this year. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's tough, man. But when you find the one, I mean, I guess that's when everything clicks. And you know what I mean?
I think y'all on damn this everything.
Yeah, I mean,
my name Keem, like you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I think being vulnerable, I do think it helps you have a deeper connection with your partner. If I think it helps facilitate more emotional support, like you know what I mean. I think the disadvantages really come with the being hurt. You know what I mean? Like opening up and then obviously having that be used against you. That's like, yeah, I don't think people understand how like hurtful that is. Like, you know what I mean? I think the disadvantages is the fear of being rejected. Like you don't want to open up to somebody and they not accept you for, you know, how you was vulnerable in that moment. You know what I mean? So there's that fear of being rejected. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, I really
You know what I thought about when you said that? Remember that what was that Insecure when the nigga told Molly he sucked dick in college?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's a fact. Like that. That's
he
how
was being vulnerable,
was being
opening up,
vulnerable.
and
So,
she
I
was
mean,
like, "What? Nah, I can't fuck with this nigga." Like,
Yeah,
so
that was
that's
I'm not gonna lie, that
little
might be
crazy. I ain't gonna hold
grounds
you.
for like.
what
Yeah, that's a
you
little.
did. What?
But again, he felt like he had a safe space, and he was just like, you know what, whatever happened in college, like whatever doesn't make me gay. That's what he said. You know what I mean? And and she
Definitely
and
means
she used
something.
that. You know, it was that rejection, like you said. It was
Yeah.
just like, damn. Now in his like, damn. Now I got to keep this to myself because who can I? If I can't tell you this, like I definitely can't tell my homeboys this. So you know what I'm saying? I gotta just go to the church and talk to
Should have took
the.
that to the grave. I ain't
You
gonna
know,
lie.
Yeah,
someone is
because I don't actually.
all right. So let me stop it right there. They pretty much left the topic right there. But again, they gave some good points, just like they gave in the previous two segments. So again, shout out to the crew and shout out to the ladies. And I'm gonna say it one more time. It was not combative. There was no loud talking. And nobody had to be kicked out. None of that. It was a straight up real discussion between four, from what seemed to be four mature adults, two men and two women. So, much props to everybody involved in this one. And before I close up, as they was talking towards the end, I was thinking about an old segment from BET's Comic View from back in the day. I think this was in 1996 or something like that when Samoa was hosting the show. And there was this comic on there named B. Cole, and he was telling a joke about men and women being soft in relationships, and I still remember this one. Y'all will see. I remember a lot. And he was telling the joke. He went into it regarding the guy. He was like, the guy was so soft that he was with his lady, and he was just crying for no reason. And then he was like, and this woman came out, out of nowhere, and reappeared or whatever. And she was and he was like, where you been? She said to the bathroom. He was like, like where you been and stuff like that. But then he brought it back to a good point. Most men, even at that, most women, excuse me, at that point in 96 going into 97, and probably now would like a man to show his soft side and a man to show his hard side too. So it's a balance. You don't want to be too hard. You definitely don't want to be too soft, because being too hard, that's going to turn a woman off. Being too soft, that's going to turn a woman off. So you definitely want to be, balanced in that regard. And I'm saying that to the fellas and ladies. I say this to y'all. Men don't want a woman that's too aggressive. But dare I say, on the flip side, do we want a woman that's too feminine? I don't know. Maybe there has to be a balance here. I would say a man would likely want a woman who is both assertive when the time is right and feminine when the time is right. But most of us don't want no aggressive woman in our lives. We just don't, because that's going to come with nothing but a list of problems that nobody wants. So, all right. So again, like I said, shout out to the Daily Wrap Up crew and everybody that was a part of this one. I think I might do some more of that videos too, depending on what they're talking about. And as long as it's not anything combative or loud or anything like that, we're good. But then again, I may take a look at some of those too and offer my thoughts as well. So, so we're going to end it right here. So with all this being said, if you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments if you're feeling the content. Let me know your thoughts on this one in terms of financial gestures and keeping in contact with an ex and being vulnerable in relationships as well. Let me know. And like I say, I'm going to put the link in the description box to the entire video. It's about an hour long, but it's real good. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves. And remember a couple of things, not just that the power of the mind is valuable, but $25 is max that you should be sending to somebody, especially if you're not in a relationship with them. It's never okay to keep in touch with an ex, no matter what the situation is. And it's no problem with the man or the woman being vulnerable in relationships. We're human and we're entitled to have our feelings about things. Take care, y'all.